Hey team, we're going to be talking secret templates in this module. A secret template defines what type of secret you can create. So for example, an Active Directory secret template would have the values username, password, and domain, whereas a web password secret template would have username, password, and URL. So the template defines these differences, the fields, and lots of other things that you'll find out during this module. So really quickly, I've just got a secret folder open here, a very secret folder. And to have a look at the secret templates that are currently active, we just click on Create Secret. These are all of the default ones. I've got a few custom ones in here that I've already made, but ones like Active Directory or Amazon IAM key, these are all default values. So if we have a look at the Active Directory account, we can see exactly as I've said, the domain name, username, and password are all variables of this secret template. If we go cancel and create another secret, and we go into the web password, we can see URL, username, and password are the items that need to be filled in this secret template. So we're pretty much defining the type of secret that's being saved. So it could be for something for IBM, it could be a web portal login, it could be Active Directory, it could be a local Windows login, it can be lots of different things. And customizing a secret template allows you to optimize the type of passwords that you're using and pass you through to different systems and whatnot. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at secret templates themselves, what the settings are in a secret template specifically, and then we'll move on to creating a custom secret template. I won't go into too much detail in the secret templates here. What we can see is a list of the secret templates. Most of these, as I've said, are the default ones, but we can also see character sets. So you can define what character sets are used in passwords. Then we can actually come up with a password requirement. So for example, in mainframes here, we can see that the password requirements are different to what we would see in like an Active Directory password. So we can define those in the password requirements. And you actually assign the character sets to the password requirements so that you can marry them up. And lastly, here we have launchers. So we'll be playing around with the launchers just a little bit in a second. But basically, Delinea comes with some launchers that are already ready to use, like PuTTY and Remote Desktop being the two most common ones. You can create your own custom launchers. In this scenario, we're not going to be doing that. That's a little bit more of an advanced feature here in Delinea. But we'll look at the ones that come out of the box. So we're going to begin by having a look at a secret template that already exists. The simplest one is the Active Directory account. Now, there are a bunch of things in here, and I'm not going to go through them one by one. In the document that I've provided, you can have a look at exactly how they're defined, and you can even hover over them to see what they mean and what they do. The only real confusing one here is one-time password. You can check out the documentation for this, but you can basically plug in an authenticator or a TOTP and get a one-time password for accessing this secret specifically. The only other important item within this component is the template expiration. You can define the template expiration to be whatever you want. It can be 30 days, 60 days, a year, doesn't matter. And what this means is that you're basically saying that the password should be rotated or the secret should expire after X amount of days. You can then tie this into a secret policy, which you can see in the policies, which is the next module. And you'll be able to see that you can make the password rotate when this secret expires, if that's something that you want to do. So the template expiration really does nothing on its own. It's just a countdown timer, but we can tie it into other things like password expiration, or you could even run a report using your Insights tab on the left there and run a report for all of the secrets that are expired. The second tab that we have here are the fields. So you would have noticed before when we went to create a dummy secret, there was the fields that we needed to fill out, which were domain, username, password, and notes. So you define them in here. If you want to add another field to the Active Directory accounts for some reason, you can add them in here, and you can make them mandatory. You can do lots of different things. The mapping tab is really where we have a lot of different options we can play around with. At the very top, we have password changing. Now, I recommend using a secret policy where necessary to do password changing, but it is also possible to do it on a secret template. So if you have privileged administrators, for example, and you want to be able to do password rotation every day or every week, you can go ahead and maybe make an Active Directory account privileged secret template. And every time you create an account with that secret template, it'll automatically have password changing enabled. Then we have the password type fields, and this is where you're basically mapping your fields with the secret fields. Now this can be slightly confusing, but it might make sense in just a minute. And lastly, we have launchers. So because this is an Active Directory account, it's going to be mapped to the remote desktop launcher. That means that when you go to this secret, you can launch a remote desktop, and what it'll do is grab your domain, password, and username, and pass you through using those credentials to the computer that you define. So this secret field here is actually a user input, and the launcher is going to have a look at this, ask you to put in a computer name, so whether it's an IP address or a computer fully qualified domain name, you'll put that in, and it'll use that information to launch your remote desktop session. So let's have a quick look at that. So let's go to our very secret folder. We have a classic Active Directory secret here that I made using the secret template Active Directory account. If we go into this secret, we can see that we have the RDP launcher here itself. And if we click that launcher, it's going to ask us to enter the computer name. Now, I actually don't have this set up in my lab right now, so we're not going to go ahead and put any computer names in. But if I did, it would launch a session via RDP on your local remote desktop application and pass you through on your computer. That means you don't have to copy your username, you don't have to copy the password, any of that sort of stuff. It'll just simply launch it straight for you. Another thing that I'll point out is the expiration. So we have expiration of 30 days on this secret, and we don't have any heartbeat at the moment, which means that it's not validated that this username and password are actively correct within this domain, which makes sense because this real username is not a real username. Great, so now that you understand the fundamentals of what makes up a secret template with all of these fields and the launches, expiration, all of this handy stuff, let's create a custom secret template so that you can see the changes and differences. So the easiest way to make a custom secret template, if I go back into my secret templates here, is to actually use an existing one. So you can go through this list and say, okay, which secret template is the most similar to the type of secret that I'm trying to create. In our case, in our lab, what we're going to do is make a secret that uses both a RDP launcher and an SSH launcher. And in this scenario, we're going to have a user that uses Active Directory credentials to both RDP and SSH. So you might have a vendor that's coming on board and they need to do things via RDP, and they also need to do things via SSH, but they're using the same credentials. So there's no point in making two secrets. I'm going to open up this and hit duplicate in the top right, and it's going to ask me for a name. Great, so all of the configuration that we had in that Active Directory template has now been copied over to our custom template. What we can do now is we're going to want to add that SSH launcher onto this. So if we go to our mappings, we can see that there's a single launcher here, which is remote desktop. What we want to do is we want to add a mapping. And the mapping type is going to be PuTTY, because we're going to be using PuTTY to launch that SSH session. Now, after you select the launcher, you get the option to put in the information that you need. In this case, we're going to make the host the user input as well. So we're not going to touch this. That means that when they click the launcher like we saw before, it's going to ask them what the computer name is. Password, we're going to match up with password. Port, we're going to use the default port, which is port 22 that we can put in ourselves. And finally, we're going to make the username. So essentially what we're doing here is we're just matching up to make sure that all of the details from the fields to the launcher itself match. So if you accidentally put username in this field and password in this field, when it goes to launch the session to SSH, it's going to put them in the incorrect order. So we want to make sure that we match this up correctly. Great. So I've hit save, and now we can see that there's two launches. There's PuTTY and remote desktop. Now I'm not going to do it in this example, but let's say that these vendors only needed access to 2 or 3 machines. We could actually change this launcher field to a list, and you can manually put in the list of machines that they can access. Now, on top of making sure that there's network restrictions, such as RDP or SSH restrictions across the network, limiting them to only pick these 2 or 3 machines or through that list limits them from being able to, splash around and use this secret to launch to things that you don't want them to launch. Great. So there's no save button or anything like that. We just simply go back over to Secret Server, and let's create a secret with our new secret template. So we've got SSH hybrid / Active Directory, and we're going to call it "This is a cool secret," techwincyber.com. Let's call it a real username as well, and we'll just generate a password because I'm not actually going to be using this one. Now, something super important. If you've done the distributed engine module, you'll know that you had to create a site for your distributed engine. And this site is what carries out the heartbeats and remote password control and remote password changing. When you click on a site, it will know which distributed engine this secret is associated to. So it's really important that you do this. If you click defaults or another site, then you're probably going to have problems in the future if you try and do remote password changing or heartbeating or anything like that. Very important. Great. So we're going to create this secret, and it's opened it straight up for us. So you'll notice straight away that now we have an RDP launcher and a PuTTY launcher. So clicking this will also ask me to enter a hostname. But I haven't configured anything to use SSH, so you'll just have to trust me here. Great. So now you're across secret templates. Use it at your own will. Thanks. Bye.